Hi, everyone. Today, I wanted to focus on the topic of learning from B2C marketing, the things that they are doing on that side, and how can we apply it to B2B business. Now, I want to make sure that we're recognizing that there are very big differences between B2B and B2C, not just in marketing, but overall. Obviously, we understand that in B2B, the sales cycles are much longer. The price of whatever product or service you're buying is much bigger. There are a lot more influencers that you have to get on board in order to make sure that they want that service and convince them that they want that service or product. And then also you get paid in a lot longer time. So when we're looking at consumer products, even cars, they're one of the higher ticket items. You usually only have one or two people that you need to convince, and it's not like that you probably go to a lot and you talk to someone, but you're not usually working with them for months and months to try to close this deal. The sales guy is not going to be about that. He's like, a week or two max that I'm going to spend on you because I've got all these other people I can sell to that are ready to come in and buy. So that's even a really good example, because oftentimes what we're seeing when companies are looking or evaluating products is that they're doing a big education on their end. They are learning, they recognize a solution, they are looking for the vendors that provide the solution for them, for the problem that they're solving, and they go through their due diligence. They usually have to evaluate several different vendors. They have to then speak to those vendors. They get involved with their sales teams. They usually narrow it down to one or two vendors, then have some sort of bake off, and on and on and on. Well, as marketers, what can we do to shorten that? And one of the things that I see that a lot of B2B businesses don't do very well is the education component. They feel as if they can keep things back from the audiences that they're trying to sell to, and that becomes kind of like the carrot to engage with the business. And then you get assigned an account manager who walks you through the entire sales process. And that to me is like, especially in this day and age when we're so uh, from a personal perspective, we are ready to go and educate ourselves as much as possible. And then we don't want to interact with a salesperson until it's absolutely necessary, until we're ready to sign on the dotted line. There still may be people that you need to convince internally, but a lot of that can be done asynchronously while you're doing your evaluations. You can have people that you're talking to, but companies want to move a lot faster. And remember, it's not just a company that needs to move, it's the people. The people are going to dictate that. So you have to put into their hands as much information as possible on your solution so that they become educated. This is one thing that B2C businesses do very well. They always have their customer testimonials up. They have videos on how the product actually works. They give you all of the specs that you need right up front. They give you everything that you need in order to make that decision very, very easy. So looking at if your product is in any way can be amenable to a product-led growth perspective. You put a lot of things into the product where the customer can get their hands on it, try it as much as possible. And I'm not just talking about a video online that they can toggle through. I'm talking about give them something that they try out for like a couple of days and they say yes or no, that this is a good thing for me. That will speed you through a lot of the back and forth on trying to do a demo online and scheduling that and getting the right people on and then passing the gate of the first person that needs to evaluate that product. And then you always have to have 3 or 4 calls after that with more and more people that you're showing the solution, and you have more calls and talking about all the specs. Put it all out there. Just put it all out there. And if there is a fear of your IP getting out and somebody reverse engineering that, like, I think there's too much weight put on that. Like, if you are already in an established market, other companies are not going to look at and try to take apart your solution and figure out how to beef up theirs. They should be focused on their own solution and beefing up their own, not taking away from yours. And if you have done the right thing with doing all of your putting all of your patents together, protecting yourself from a legal perspective, there's not much that they can do. And they can't move fast enough to develop that product. It's going to take a year or two to do that. So you're going to develop your product a lot faster in those years, 1 or 2 years, than they can to create the product you have today. So keep that in mind. The other thing that I think that B2C businesses do really well is that they are constantly in your face. Like if they have a product, it is going to show up wherever you want. They have identified you as a person that fits the criteria for their solution. You've either done something online that they can identify with, and then they follow you around and they constantly show you their logo. You see this all the time in consumer products. If you are interested in a pair of shoes, like for instance, I love the On Clouds. I go to their page one time and then I get retargeted all over the place. I see them pop up in Instagram. I see them here. I get influencers that are pushing the solution are constantly popping up in my feed because the algorithm knows that I'm a target audience. So those types of things are the things that B2B needs to do. A lot of companies are starting to go in this direction, but they're not doing it very well because the sales cycles are still so long. So if we can adopt some of those retargeting and constant bombarding of the target user, someone who is going to buy in the next 2 months, then your sales cycles will be faster because you've already identified them as a target. And now you just need to make sure that not only they, but all the other people that influence them are getting served with your ads or your content or whatever it is. So you're reinforcing that you are right for them. And so that means developing the content that's right for each one of those target audience members, all those influencers. Those seem to be very easy things to do, but they take a lot of work. They do take a lot of effort. But once you start the engine going, you can really adopt a lot of the B2C motions that are in place and adopt them to B2B. There's a lot that I haven't still talked about that we could go down a rabbit hole and talk about all day. But there's a lot to be said for how quickly B2C works, how quickly they bring in revenue, and we're not trying to make a carbon copy of their marketing plans, but we're saying what can we take from them and adapt it to our business so that we can run faster and get revenue in the pocket faster than our competitors. So that's my idea on looking at B2C and how to transfer some of those things over to B2B. A lot more to come, so listen tight. And if you have any questions, reach out to me, rosa@rosalear.com. Thanks. Bye-bye.